everyone. Welcome back.
Caleb did the introduction this time because I pressed record.
And let's be honest, he sounds the best.
Way better.
So, Jason, they're making Space Jam 2.
Yes.
You said.
I looked that up because you thought it was a hoax.
I was wishing it was a hoax.
You got your Toon Squad shirt on there, too. So.
And I'm pissed.
Why is that?
It's just like the dumbest idea in the world to make a second Space Jam. I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems absolutely ridiculous.
Who's in it?
LeBron James. Get out of here.
They've been saying they were going to do this forever. They finally are?
Apparently. I still think it could be a hoax. I'm hoping.
It isn't. Like, there is...
Is it on IMDb?
There's a budget. No. $100 million budget. The release date is going to be July 16th, 2021. Warner Brothers is doing it, obviously. It's got LeBron James, Don Cheadle. I don't know who these other two people are. And they've even got, like, the other... I saw a minute ago where they had the other NBA players, obviously, like they did last time.
Right.
And I can't find it. Yeah, I don't know where it was, but apparently it's going to have WNBA players in it too, which makes sense.
Because their ratings are so high.
Yeah, and everybody loves it. And they lose money every freaking season. For like 17 years, they've lost money. And if they weren't attached to the NBA, then they would be out of business. Yeah. Because what other thing can lose money for 17 years and we keep it going?
U.S. government?
Yeah.
That's true.
The WNBA is the equivalent of the U.S. government.
Garbage.
Terrorists.
I don't know if I would go that
far. Are you sure?
It's like having a second business that is only being supported by your first business and keeping it for 17 years and not just letting it go.
Let me ask you guys this. Can you name one WNBA team?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
No.
I got nothing.
I know y'all don't really watch sports.
I'm not a huge sports fan, but
you could name NBA teams, obviously.
The Grizzlies.
Okay, ones that aren't in the city.
The Raptors. Yeah. The Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't watch NBA, but I definitely know a lot of teams.
Trailblazers.
I could name a bunch for sure. I'm not going to. Ooh, that's terrible. I mean, I just can't imagine it being a good film at all.
Is your problem with the fact that they're just making another one, or do you not like LeBron being in it?
Both. Like, it's like an insult to make a second one, and then it's like throwing salt in the wound, adding LeBron, because of the whole people try to claim he's better than Jordan, and it's just absolutely insane. And it's like, what's Jordan? Jordan could have done it. They could have done it and had Jordan be in it, and it would have been incredible. I'd have been like, all right, I'm down with this. This is the only way you could do this. If you put Jordan, Bill Murray, and Larry Bird in it, phenomenal film again. You know what I mean? Like, they're old. Who cares? It would have been great.
I think that all those dudes are probably alive. Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I don't know that I know all of them.
I think Spud Webb was he one of them? Who was the
No,
real
that was
short
Muggsy.
guy?
That was Muggsy.
I think he's the shortest guy that ever played in the NBA, maybe. He got to be close.
Do you know how tall he was? Look it up real quick.
I can. Yeah. Let me see.
Because I think Spud Webb was like 5'8".
I just know that he won dunking competitions.
Yeah.
And it was incredible.
It's pretty impressive.
Like, to see him just flying up, slam dunking.
5'3".
That's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. And I'm assuming he had a decent career in the NBA too at 5'3".
Yeah.
134 pounds. No, he was good.
Yeah.
That's defying all odds against you. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to look up.
Impressive.
I'm sure that he played for Wake Forest. He was a 12th pick in the NBA draft.
What year?
87.
87.
Yep.
Wow.
Man, averaged just over 7 points a game, 7 assists, 2 steals.
He averaged 10 points a game.
8 points a game.
8 points a game.
That's over his whole career.
Yeah, but still, I mean, That's not bad for a 5'3" guy.
And then he went on to coach the WNBA team, the Charlotte Sting.
Now we know a team.
And then he coached United Faith Christian Academy. Quite the fall from grace there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe he'll make a cameo in Space Jam 2. It'll be like the best thing he's done in a while.
We believe in you, Muggsy.
I don't like any kind of like remakes, really. I think it's just lazy. Sometimes it's like fine, and it's cool to see a classic being redone if they do it well, but it just they overdo remakes of classics so much, and it's like, is the creativity in Hollywood really that
just gone?
Yeah, like you can't just make anything new, and like people are making things new, but it's still mostly based off of an old movie reboot or an old book, like,
yeah.
It bothers me.
Nothing new. I watched Benchwarmers 2 today. Speaking of remakes, or
did not know they did that.
They did it. It's brand new. Just came out, I guess, last year, but like the end of the last year.
Is it like a Happy Madison production, which is like Adam Sandler's?
I don't think so. I think Nick Swartzen had something to do with this one.
Makes sense. He's kind of losing all of his steam.
He wasn't in the movie, but I think he produced it or something.
Yeah.
But
Who is that?
Nick Swartzen. He's a comedian. He was in a bunch of stuff. Have you seen The Benchwarmers? I'm trying to think of what else he was in. Was he in Grandma's Boy?
He was in Grandma's Boy. He was in Reno 911.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Reno 911?
I don't really watch that kind of comedy, and so I don't.
Gotcha.
know.
Like good comedy.
I don't like it.
He's a pretty funny guy. Like,
yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've always loved Nick Swartzen. He's really funny.
But the remake of this movie was just a different movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. I don't know the actor's name, but it was like he was in one of the American Pie movies.
Jason Biggs.
Who's that?
The main guy from American Pie?
Yeah.
No, not you talking about the Jewish dude?
Is it,
No. This was like the dude who was like the athlete who was like taller and like a little more built and kind of a third or fourth down the line character.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, he was like the main guy in Benchwarmers 2. And they had some of the old characters. Like, they had the billionaire guy.
John Lovitz?
Yeah, they had him in it still.
He's
He's
incredible.
He's funny. It was a funny movie, man. I enjoyed the movie, but it was... And I think I enjoyed it because it was just a different movie. You know what I mean? They kind of made some references to the old one, he talked about how, like... He was like, there was a team one time, like the billionaire guy. What'd you say his name was?
John Lovitz.
Yeah. He talked about that. Like, he's like, there was a team one time and they came together and they were all just bench warmers, So he kind of like referenced the old movie or whatever, but it was funny. It was just one of those stupid, funny movies, like there's not a whole lot of weight to it, but
yeah.
It's funny when they have those movies that they'll make the movie and the first movie will be like really successful. And then they make like sequels to it, but they don't get the same people. Like, did you guys ever see the Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher in it?
I haven't ever seen that.
It's a freaking good movie. And then, like, I saw in the store the other day, like Butterfly Effect 2 and maybe even 3. Just completely B-rate actors.
Yeah.
Just like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works because, like, American Psycho is one of the best films of all time. Like, it's a classic.
It's so weird. Have you watched that Netflix thing, Don't Fuck with Cats or whatever? I was watching that today, and it's so funny that I've heard that exact phrase twice today. American Psycho is one of the best films ever.
It is.
It is one of the best
like
films.
2 hours ago. On that, and I was like,
It definitely is. But they made an American Psycho 2 like years later with Mila Kunis.
That's weird.
Like,
She was the
she's
killer?
yeah, but it's like I never actually watched the whole thing because it was so ridiculous. But like, it's just like, what do you do? Like, this has none of the original people making the film in the film. This is like how do you get the rights to the name to make this film?
Right.
When it was such a classic before. I don't understand how they can do that. Because there's a lot of like sequels to films that were like original films, and then they just kind of somehow made a bunch more.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird, man.
Even like the American Pie movies are like that.
They've made like 40 of those.
Yeah, like all the shoot-off ones.
Yeah,
are
like after the first 3, every other one is just like,
yeah,
what?
There's like 4 originals basically because they did Reunion, which was like the same
cast,
same people, and it was that same storyline. But
yeah, it's weird. I mean, like they made a second Sandlot at one point, and it was like the main character was a girl, and like, man, look, I don't have any problems with women being main characters, but like, it just sucked. It was a shitty movie.
Yeah,
like, because the first one was so iconic. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It was just garbage.
Yeah. I think they made a Karate Kid with like Will Smith's kid or something.
Yeah. I never did watch that one.
It's got to be awful because of all these like...
Man, I feel like I put it on the last couple months and I probably fell asleep to it, but I didn't think it was that bad. Like, what I did see of it, I was like, oh, this is all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't horrible.
I've seen Jaden Smith in one thing, and that's The Get Down, and he was incredible. So, like, I'm not, like, against him as an actor because I know he knows how to act. Now, the role he played was, like, almost more effeminate, like, black kid who was, like, an artist in like, the 80s or whatever when, like, hip-hop is first being created.
So he just played himself?
Basically,
yeah.
But and it was he did a phenomenal job. Like, he's really good in that show. But it's weird to think of him as the Karate Kid. But like I would watch it. Yeah. You know.
See, and that I don't know. Maybe he is a good actor, but like that. It's weird how some actors, like, they're just good at that one thing. And then we were talking about Matthew McConaughey and the True Detective thing.
Yeah.
Like, when you contrast him in that and his role in, like, Wolf of Wall Street, it's just looking at 2 different people.
Yeah, and what's weird is that, like, for most of his career, he was typecast as the rom-com god. Like, he was just that, like, guy who was in all those romantic comedies, and that was all he could do.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of like used him for that, but he was never taken seriously. And then I don't really know, I haven't seen this movie, but I think Mud was like the first thing he was in that was like different than all the other films he was in that kind of got him some recognition. And then he did like Dallas Buyers Club and started getting into all these films, and people were like, wait a second, this guy's an incredible actor. And the way he can play these different characters and be different people, like you're saying, is amazing. And he's just been like wasting his years doing Failure to Launch. You know, like, what are you doing, man?
It's a decent movie.
It's not a decent movie. That is very inaccurate. What's insane is I've seen that movie probably like 10 or 15 times.
Right.
And I do not like it. Never have.
Not that bad.
Have you guys ever seen... have y'all watched Big Bang Theory at all?
Yeah, like the beginning of it. Like I kind of quit watching after a while.
It's so funny. Like at one point, like you understand like Sheldon's character in that or whatever. Yes. It's so funny. There's this one where like he's asking Penny about something, and she's like, "Well." Like an old boyfriend, she was like, well, the problem was, you know, we were just at different times in our lives, and the only way that we could communicate to each other was like this magic mailbox at my lake house. And like he's listening to her halfway through all that, and then he realizes like I've never seen this movie, but like this stupid like
The Lake House.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. Yeah,
I've seen that movie.
His face just drops, and he goes, "It's not enough that you made me watch that movie. Now you mock me with it."
That's awesome. Yeah, I've definitely seen that movie. It was pretty boring. But I was like really young, and I looked up the end on Wikipedia like as soon as we started watching it. Like I looked up like the big secret ending and was just sitting there like, I know what's going to happen.
I used to like romantic comedies more than I do now.
Some of them are really good.
Some of them are decent, but
I think now
I just thought that like that's what girls like. I was 17 or 18.
So you're like, I'm gonna like this too.
I'm gonna like this too.
Try to meet a girl.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: there are some chick flicks out there that are incredible movies. In the Land of Women is a great film. It has what's his name, Adam Brody in it, Kristen Stewart and Goldie Hawn, maybe, I think is who it is. And, like, it's just such a good film. Like, and it's not, it's like, it's a chick flick pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's written really well. It keeps you captivated. It's very interesting.
Right.
Yep. And there's a lot of movies like that that are really good that I don't mind, like, saying that I enjoy. Like, I think The Notebook is probably actually a really good film. I've never watched it. I've always wanted to. But I feel like that's actually a good movie.
It may be. I've never seen it.
There are some, like Garden State. Have you ever watched that?
Garden State is incredible.
That's awesome, yeah.
500 Days of Summer.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's incredible.
Part of it, and I don't think this applies to Garden State or anything like that, but I think some of those movies, though, are kind of like porn for women. Like, they're so unrealistic that women watch it and they're like, oh, I want that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get that because it's not real life.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's having kids, nobody's fighting, you're not dealing with illness and bills and all that kind of crap. It's just this ideal situation where this guy only cares about you.
Yeah. I think, too, though, that those things, like, I think some men buy into that shit, too. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
that's what I think the porn is. Like, I think men buy into porn more.
Yeah, but I think some of them buy into the whole love thing too, like that, like the fantasy of the. Which, I mean, I'm not saying love doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the romantic comedy fantasy of love. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think some men buy into that shit too. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to that type of shit is shoved down our throats so regularly.
I think that
this false
those types of things
love
happen in the world in reality, but it's like few
and far between.
Yeah. It's not.
And
it's not a way you should try to, like, search for someone or live your life hoping that the destiny's going to find the right person for you.
And, well, and I don't think it lasts forever. Like, you may
have that for a bit. Yeah,
in
sure.
The first, but if you don't, and I think that's why there's so much, like, divorce and, like, people cheating on each other and all this stuff, because they're looking, they think that initial feeling you have when you meet somebody and you have it for the first 6 months or whatever.
Sure.
They think that's supposed to last for your entire life because
right.
Hollywood tells you that.
Exactly, man. And that's just not the way. That's not reality. Like, relationships are hard. They take a lot of work. That's just the fact of it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not this fantasy thing that is portrayed to us regularly, you know. And so I think you're right. I think that is what causes you know, a lot of the divorce or just unhappiness, but
yeah, I mean, I've seen that in my personal life, and people that I know.
Yeah, man, it's definitely it's a false sense of what love is that is portrayed in Hollywood, and it blinds a lot of people, I think, into having just either a fake relationship or expecting things out of a relationship that are just not they're just not real, you know. And but I think you're right too when it comes to the whole porn thing too. I mean, that's the same.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of it, because I think maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think men are leaving their wives as much, or their longtime partner, whatever, as much, because they're like, I'm not in love with you anymore. I think that's more of a thing that women would say, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think men see porn and they see like a perfect looking girl that wants to have sex as much as you do, the way that you do all the time, you know, and they kind of expect that, and I think that's equivalent of what women expect with like this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they see this unrealistic portrayal, and then they say, "Oh, that's what it should be like," and it's not like that. So,
do you think both parties involved should strive to be more like those fantasies, though?
To a degree, but I do think both of them are to such an unrealistic extreme that it's not.
I agree.
You know, because, like, that's the thing. Like, and I've known people like that before. Like, there was this guy that I knew once that he was, like, he ran his own business. He was pretty successful. And, I mean, great, like, family guy. Like, he paid attention to his family. His family was the most important thing to him, but he ran this business. And his wife would get mad if he didn't text her enough while he was at work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, dude, he may not be able to. He's trying to provide for you and your kids, but you're wanting all the focus to be on you all day. But I'm sure you still want the bills paid and all this stuff. Like, it's that kind of crap is unrealistic.
Yes.
And in the same way that it might be for a woman, like, you know, if you've got 3 kids and they've been crazy that day, for me to come home and expect to find my wife in lingerie or something like that and just turn on immediately or whatever. But I do think you're right. Like, we should be striving for that stuff both ways.
Yes, and I don't think you should be unrealistic with your expectations out of your partner either, though. You know, I agree with you. Like, the texting thing, like you're talking about, like, leave the guy alone. He's at fucking work. Like, when he gets home, if the dude never buys flowers, never tries to do anything romantic for you, then there's a problem, right? Yeah. But, like, don't be such an asshole that you think he needs to text you every 5 seconds. Like, that's or like, hey, fucked up. I text you an hour ago, why didn't you text me back? Like, there are times I'm at work, like, it may be 2 hours because just how the day falls. Like, absolutely. I just don't have time to do that. And if I make that time right then it's going to negatively affect what you're doing
and capacity to earn money to support you. Like,
absolutely.
You have to understand that. In the same way that I may text her in the middle of the day and she's got, you know, the kids doing something, like maybe one of them got hurt, maybe she's getting a bath. I mean, I'm not like, why the hell can't you text me back in 30 minutes, you know?
Well, it's just, I think, trusting your partner that they're not texting you back because they're doing something wrong or trying to be an asshole. I think if you have a decent relationship, you're just like, oh, well, they're fucking busy for a little bit. Yeah. Like, they'll get back to me when they fucking see it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I don't even think with this one, as far as I know, I'm talking to the guy, like, I don't think there was any suspicion that, like, he was cheating on her or doing something he shouldn't have. She just wanted...
Very selfish.
She just had unrealistic expectations of what should be happening there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. It's definitely... Love is not a... It's not a fantasy like what's portrayed. That's for sure.
No.
But it's great, though. It's just different than what they show us.
Okay, so that may be a good segue into what, like I told you, I've been reading, me and my wife have been reading Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. And the first chapter in that, which is what we read last week, was stand up straight with your shoulders back or whatever. And, I mean, you've read that, I think. You read that too, Caleb, with us, didn't you? Yeah. Like, so we've read that before. And the premise of the first chapter is like kind of like hierarchies and how there are inevitable hierarchies and everything, and you know, it compares us to, I guess, just different things in the animal kingdom, sparrows or songbirds, whatever they are, and then lobsters and that kind of thing, and just talks about...
He talks a lot about lobsters.
He talks a lot about lobsters, yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, but he goes into, like, the dynamics of human relationships like that, and talks about, you know, how that even happens now, like with the Pareto, what's it called, distribution or whatever, where the
Pareto principle.
Pareto principle, yeah.
Yeah, where the top, what is it? Y'all may know the exact number.
Basically, it's an 80-20 split. 20% is always going to be on top.
Yep.
And it happens throughout nature. It happens throughout everything.
Yeah.
But there's so many different hierarchical games to play. That just because it's an 80-20 split doesn't mean that you just go, well, fuck, I'm always going to be in the 80%. Like, go play a different game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go.
And the 20 can change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true too.
All the time.
So, before I ask this question, let me ask, do you guys buy evolution at all? Like, either on a micro or macro level?
Explain that. Micro and macro. Yeah,
okay.
like...
I hope I'm not getting this switched up, but I believe microevolution is like adaptation. So that would be like, you know, whatever, this certain kind of bird developed a longer beak to get at a certain kind of insect.
Sure.
So over the time, like, their beak changed from being short and stubby to long to be able to get at a certain type of food source or whatever. Macro evolution, bigger picture would be like going from like a single cell organism to us.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in macroevolution. I do believe in microevolution.
I agree with the same thing. Little e, no big e's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the theory of evolution as far as an explanation for the creation or the reason for humans. I don't think that that's plausible.
Yeah. Well, and I probably don't either. But like but I think it's interesting because in that he talks about like there's a heading in that chapter of they get all the girls, so like the top people in the hierarchy would get, the top guys would get all of the women wanting to be with them, right? And so that's, I mean, actors, rich guys, celebrities, those kind of people, they have their choice of all the women, whereas, lower status people that may be unattractive, not wealthy, not famous, they're not going to hardly get any, and in that he says that much like the animal kingdom, it's outsourced to the group. So basically the female looks at what the rest of the females are looking at and decides, okay, that must be a desirable mate, I should want that too. I think the same thing for the men, with the women. But like I was wondering, because obviously there are different animals react different to things just on like instinct, kind of like what Ayn Rand was talking about in that book we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Like, so I'm wondering if it doesn't seem like a good method anymore, especially with humans, like with an animal behaving on instinct. When they're trying to find the best mate, they're trying to find the strongest. Their instinct is driving them to propagate the genealogy, their offspring. So it's not really thinking about this stuff. It's just trying to find the biggest, strongest, fastest, most, dominant male to produce the best offspring for it, right?
Right.
But as humans, we're not doing that. And I think it may have something to do with the fact that we have reason and self-awareness, like we're self-conscious or whatever. Like, so, because that's not, like he says in that book, this is it's a smart thing that they outsource this stuff. And I think he was talking about people in it, but I don't think that is the case really, because, I mean, you could find one of these dominant males, but it wouldn't be the best thing for just some woman to go try and be with that person. Like, you got to put that research in, because you're not just thinking about propagating your offspring.
Right. There's more variables involved when it comes to humans than animals.
Yeah.
And it's not just all instinct based. I think some of it is. I mean, I think there are some deep rooted instinctual things. Like, I mean, I think for the most part, the majority of women don't want pansy ass men. I think they want men. Yeah. You know what I mean? Is in the same way with men wanting a certain type of woman. We don't want masculine women. We want feminine women. Like, that's just natural. And I think those are some, I don't know, instinctual
social
things.
Constructs.
No, I don't think so. But there are.
But what about back in the day when big, thick, voluptuous, fat women were desirable because it meant that they were wealthy, and that was what men.
Well, it also meant that they were healthy, like that they weren't starving to death and going to die.
But that's not necessarily not a feminine trait. That is more of a sexual attraction thing, right?
But
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but it still kind of goes with the whole like, men are attracted to the hourglass figure by nature. Like, that's a claim that people make. That it's in our instinct to be attracted to that.
I think we're attracted to
wide hips and big breasts.
I think part of it is just like something that's healthy. And depending on the status of society at the time, that's going to determine what healthy is.
So a social construct.
But when you said this thing initially, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about like a masculine woman that like tries to be dominant over the man. or
I got you.
That kind of thing. Now, if you're just talking about the way
she looks, I think that's gonna maybe be societal or social construct.
But then what about the golden ratio of, like, the more someone's features, the closer they are to the golden ratio, the more desirable they are to, like, the mass majority of people. Like,
that's probably true.
Things that are designed with the aspects of the golden ratio are pleasing to the eye.
Right. Symmetry and
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there is
on a mass scale, like you said,
our, like, basic instinct
yes.
of looks.
I've said this 1,000 times. I think we're all products of our environment. So if we grow up in a society where, you know, if you're skinny, that means that you're poor and dying. But if you're fat, that means you have money and you're healthy.
But is that's flipped in our society now?
Yes.
Because
there is an abundance of food. And
good
most
food
fattening
costs
food
more
is cheap.
than
right.
Yeah, bad.
And so it's society says, well, if you're fat now, then you're unhealthy, right? And in general, like at a certain level, no matter where you come from, at a certain level of obesity, you're unhealthy regardless. But
isn't that kind of like outliers, though? I mean, because like I don't remember if we had already started recording. It may have been before we recorded last time when St. Clair was like, listen, you're not going to find any porn out there with some good-looking guy banging some fat woman or whatever. I think you were the one talking, and you, like, stood up and like, St. Clair, you absolutely can find that porn. He argued back and forth, but, like, so yeah, I think there's probably any kind of I'm attracted to this, that,
sure,
whatever out there,
yeah,
but the majority.
And I also
we're looking at the big curve here.
If you take examples like, even like not even in porn, like if you see a couple and it's a really muscular, handsome, well built guy, and he's with like say a big fatty, right?
Yeah.
And they're married and they've been married for 15 years or something, happily married. That doesn't mean that he's also not attracted to skinny waisted, big breasted, blonde models.
Sure.
Like, people can be attracted to a lot of different things, and I think most people, regardless of who they choose to be with, are attracted to the symmetrical golden ratio, godlike, image of men and women. Mm-hmm. But I think people are not always as picky.
I don't. What is like the golden ratio? What is that? What are you talking about? Like, I know what the golden ratio is, but how does it?
I'm not exactly sure, but the statue of David was built off the golden ratio, like by the proportions of everything, and they've done. I've seen things where they've done like they build faces like with the computers based off the golden ratio, and it's like the most like beautiful faces you could think of, basically. Like, I mean, they're it's like everything you would want in a face. Everything's perfectly symmetrical, and it creates beautiful people when you do it with the golden ratio. The farther away you get from that, typically the uglier people someone is.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But you're talking about body type. So what would the body type for the golden ratio be?
Fit the dimensions of the statue of David.
Okay, that's a man.
But it also depends on the height of the person. So it would be different dimensions per person, but it's based on how tall you are.
I don't know, because I'm horrible at math. I can't explain the golden ratio and how to break down that equation
But it does fit for everyone.
Would be able to.
He definitely would be able to.
Yeah. He for the longest was going for the
yeah, he wanted to build his body, and I think he accomplished it at some point. I don't know, but he was going for the dimensions of the golden ratio for his body type and everything.
Yeah, because based on his height and all that.
Like, it is technically the most
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, like that's why, like, okay, you can build and be a bodybuilder, but not everybody's into that giant Ronnie Coleman, like super jacked person. That's too much, Like, so there's a middle ground, and it's called the golden ratio.
Okay.
Yep.
I used to have a shirt that I got at a thrift store that said the golden ratio, and it like had it on there. And my friend would always just be like, he would always call it like the golden shower. Like every time he would see it, he's like, it makes me think of golden shower.
If you want to be beautiful, shoot for the golden ratio. You can fix your body by working out, but your face is still fucked.
Yeah, you can't even do that.
Plastic surgery.
Man, that always doesn't work like that.
It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does.
Maybe.
I'm against plastic surgery.
Listen, man.
I think there's
like. Do you know who the chick in King of Queens is?
Yeah, Leah
Remey or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever watched like old King of Queens with her in it?
Mm.
And you see her now.
Yeah.
Like, she was gorgeous back then. And she'd probably still be somewhat gorgeous today, but that plastic surgery, her face doesn't move anymore. It's weird.
Yeah, no, and what bothers me is there's this growing trend of it it's I don't know, plastic surgery's been around for forever, and it seems like people used to pick different features, and now it's like they've got one face, and all these women go in and say, give me that face, and they're just being carbon copied, printed out, the same fucking person over and over and over, and it's like, I hate that. Like, I don't know why they can't have some variety to it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It does work sometimes, but sometimes you're just like, man, that's some dice to roll there too.
Yeah, like, did you ever watch Extreme Makeover? Not Home Edition, but like the Person Edition.
No.
They would do some pretty incredible things. Like, they would take really fuck ugly people and give them plastic surgery and then give them clothes and do makeup and hair and all that. And they would turn these people into really good looking people. And like, I think that's the appropriate use of plastic surgery. Like, if your nose is a bit crooked or if you have some features that are off, they can fix those things. But when most of the time the people that ruin their faces are already beautiful people that have issues with their, like, they're self-conscious about it and all of this, and so they think they've got to go out and get things fixed, and it's like you're adding to already good lips, you're adding to an already good nose, you're fucking it up and making it look weird. Like, I don't get it. Yeah,
well, I mean, they're just chasing youth, I think.
Yeah. Just drink, the blood of children like the elites do.
Yeah, like all the freaking Hillary does, Yeah. It'll be fine. Have you ever watched Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
Like, like that one guy, like the billionaire guy or whatever.
Gavin.
He has like what's he call him, like a blood boy or
whatever? This is my blood boy.
Yeah. Just sits there and does like blood transfusions or whatever with him.
It's so creepy. Because it's a thing.
Oh, yeah. And I guess it works, man. I don't know why they'd do it if it didn't.
From the like story, not like from the different things I've read about it and some of the people who have like been open about the fact that they do this, they don't do it that way. They drink it.
My God.
Like, I'm sure they have someone putting it into bags like that,
yeah,
but then they drink it, is from what I know, instead of just, having it like transfused into them.
Imagine. I would throw up everywhere.
When I was a kid, I used to get hurt all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but that's your own, like...
I would, like,
Yeah.
And I never was, like, bothered by the taste of blood. But, like,
but it was your blood.
Yeah. And, like, I would... if I bled so much that would fill up a cup, I would never drink the whole cup of my own blood.
Well, no, that would be a whole different thing. And then also, I mean, it's just like anything else. I mean, if you stink in any way, like, it doesn't really stink to you. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a big, but like, Dale walks back in.
What are y'all talking about?
I mean,
talking about how much you stink and you don't realize it.
Yeah, God, that's what it sounds like. Come back, y'all are talking about how bad I stink.
In your Dragon Ball Z shirt.
I don't smell it.
That's probably the one Dragon Ball Z shirt that doesn't stink.
That's a good one.
Did you watch Dragon Ball Z?
No.
Caleb?
I used to watch it when I was younger, yeah. I haven't. I wasn't like super into it in the sense of like from beginning to end, but I always loved watching it when it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I was a little too old for Pokemon when that started too.
It came out like 96. You were like 8.
Okay, well, crap, man, I don't know. It
just wasn't cool.
It wasn't on my TV.
I don't know when it came out, to be honest with you. I have to look it up real quick. Let me look it up.
Yeah, so that, and then I think I remember like on Saturdays watching like Voltron or something. And I think that was technically anime too, but.
Well, I mean, I guess technically anything that's animated is anime.
Is it? I don't know what it.
I was right. Came out in 1996.
Look at you. Yeah, I was only 9. I mean, I guess
you should have been like super into it. Like that was
prime time.
Yeah, man.
I played the Game Boy games.
Did you?
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
I remember when we were kids, like the church we went to at the time was so against Pokemon.
Really?
But it was so popular that every kid brought their cards to church, right?
Why?
Because Pokemon's the devil.
No, but I'll tell you why. Because they evolved.
Yeah.
And because they evolved, that was against creation. And it was all evolution.
But they never evolved. It was all like the microevolution.
Yeah.
It was adaptation.
Exactly.
Like it was like a little dinosaur to a big dinosaur. Wasn't it?
It was basically it fucking grew up.
Yeah, it grew. It grew. You don't like the word evolve.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was the main reason why they were so against it. But
listen, I remember when I was a kid going to church and like they thought Harry Potter was the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Worst thing ever. But they were like, we're all gonna go load up in a band and go see Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Now listen, my mom did this exact thing to us. We saw all the Lord of the Rings films in theaters,
or Narnia,
and
like
yes,
all that.
And I've watched Harry Potter within the last like 7 years of my life.
I didn't watch Harry Potter until I was in my 20s.
Yeah, like and just it was the devil.
Yeah,
absolutely the devil.
Yeah.
And now I will give the Christians that you can make Christian relations within Lord of the Rings. There's
for sure.
It definitely can. You can make those,
and especially with Narnia.
Yeah. Oh, Narnia. Yeah.
Narnia is like a whole completely spelled out that way.
To be that
yeah.
way.
Yeah. And Harry Potter, you really can't. But it's a children's story about fake things.
Listen, I haven't read or watched any of the Harry Potter stuff really. Like I've seen it here and there, but I don't know anything about it. But like, I just feel like I would assume that there's a pretty clear picture of good and evil in that.
100%.
Like it's not like blurring the lines there, which would be the only thing that I could see as being like.
I think the argument was that they were witches and
wizards
and messing with magic.
Yeah, and that's what's
so
true. Annoying.
Yeah.
It's like it's. I don't. It doesn't make any sense because it's like I guess it's because it's like they're a bunch of kids and they're being taught how to be witches and wizards and like they're like I don't know where their logic came from behind all that, but you could. It might be a leap, but you could draw connections from the Harry Potter story to the Bible. Like there's good and evil, there's sacrifice, there's I mean you could make those things just like you could with just about anything really, but like it always was so annoying that we weren't allowed to watch that.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed, like I wanted to get Super Smash Bros for 64 when I was a kid, and one of the characters is Ness, I think was his name, from like Earthbound. It was an old game. He's the one who had the baseball bat and the yo-yo. I don't know if you ever played.
I know, but I haven't ever.
Well, I said, I want to get this game, Mom. And Daniel goes, no, that character's from Harry Potter. He doesn't need that game. And she wouldn't let me get it. And the character's not from Harry Potter.
Why do you say that?
I didn't know. I didn't know until after the fact, and I told my cousin, and he was like, it's like from a game called Earthbound. He's not from Harry Potter.
Listen, when I was a kid, and I was in my church in this thing called Team Kids.
Team Kids.
Like this, I don't know, just like this Wednesday night thing that they tried to make as fun as possible for kids or whatever. But you earn like points, like memorizing Bible verses and doing this stuff, and then they would have a store where you could buy things with these points or whatever. And I remember just being like, listen, talking to one of the guys, can you give me a Nintendo 64 game if I earn like a crap ton of these points and save them? And they did it, and I really think it was funny because I was young, but they got me GoldenEye for Nintendo 64.
That's awesome.
And like he was halfway ashamed of it too, but I think he was just like, this kid got a crap ton of points, and I never got in trouble or whatever. So I think it was, but I remember him being like, "Come with me," and like we walked back, and he had a manila file folder with it in this thing, and he opens it up, and I'm like, yes.
Yes.
That's a golden reward right there.
This dude memorized half the Bible. He's going to get his golden eye game. That's right.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you have a Nintendo Switch?
Mm-mm.
You should get one so we can play Smash Bros.
They have it on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, you do have 64. Do you have that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it too, but my 64s don't work for some reason.
I think we have it on the Wii U in there too.
Do you have GameCube controllers?
Mm-mm.
So I'm not about to play Smash Bros on a fucking Wii remote.
Terrible.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no. It's like not possible.
Mm-mm. Fuck that.
I feel like this podcast is a little bit different flavor than the other ones.
You know,
about movies
and video games. I just recently played Smash Bros on a Switch.
Oh yeah,
and it's kind of difficult with those little tiny Switch controllers. You know, we hooked it up to the TV and both played with each side of the Switch, and it's definitely different because it's a tiny controller. The buttons are not in the right spots, and it's weird, but I picked it up pretty quick. I mean, that's probably that and Mario Kart are probably the two most played games that I've played in my life. You know what I mean? Or maybe Zelda, Legend of Zelda on 64. Mario Party. Yeah.
Maddie thought that she was thinking this was a Mandela effect. And I don't think it is, but she's like, I swear that Mario Party 4 was on the Nintendo 64. Like, she's like, I swear I had it and we used to play it all the time. But she's like, apparently it came out for the GameCube.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking, I think it did, because I had Mario Party 4 on GameCube.
Mm-hmm. Which we played a ton.
Yeah.
I remember playing Mario Party 3 on 64, probably.
I don't think they do that either. I don't think, like, when they make the next generation, they still make it on the older one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
I need to get a console of some sort and play some Call of Duty with you guys or something.
You need to play.
I'm going to be horrible at it, though.
Fine.
Like, you can play, and be horrible, but I wouldn't suggest starting out with that, because you're just going to be like, I suck at this, I hate playing video games, and quit playing.
Probably.
Like, you should play an RPG where you can just...
Yeah, but I think that's true. Like, if you're doing it by yourself, but I think you play it more.
Yeah, I mean, you would. You would.
I mean, I played Halo and sucked at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a long... I mean, I got decent at it later on, like, but for the longest time, like, I mean, I might get 5 kills and die 20 times.
Yeah. You know they're making a new Halo game at the end of the year.
Really?
When the new consoles drop, like the new Xbox is going to drop with the new Halo game.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about it, but I probably won't be able to get it because it's going to be a fucking crazy expensive console.
Yeah. I might be able to get an older console after that happens.
PS5 probably anyway. I've been playing Skyrim, and it's an old ass game that I started playing a long time ago because everybody was like, "This is the best game ever made."
Yeah.
And I just hated it for some reason. Like, I barely got into it, and then was like, I don't want to play this anymore. And I've played a lot of games similar to that over the years that basically were inspired off of that game, sort of. And so I'm playing it now, and it's just incredible. Like, it's so much fun. And I got like the special edition version, which I haven't really messed with this a lot, but it has like mods. And so it's like mods that are uploaded from different users, different players and stuff. And they add like stuff like enhanced graphics and like there's cheats and stuff that you can use, which I don't really care about doing that, but like just all kinds of different weird stuff, like stuff where you can find arrows that are like the chickens from Hot Shot Part 2, like where he's shooting chickens with it as an arrow. Remember that? Hot Shots?
Hot Shots, what's that?
With Charlie Sheen. It's like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he dips his hands in like candy, and then like those movies are so funny. But like they add like weird little shit like that in that you can just mod the game with and then play it and have it like that. You know? So it's pretty cool. But
it's neat.
I was playing it thinking about what you said about your dad and how he just goes around just like making gold. Yeah. Like that's like all he does is just farming gold. Yeah. I love that. It's definitely like fun to do like like the non-combat stuff and just go around just like doing things like that you can do, you know?
Oh yeah, like there's so much stuff on it. It was just that at one point he told me how much gold he had. It's just like, you'll never need that in that game. Like, you'll never need all that. And it probably took him so much time to do that stuff. Because, like, yeah. But yeah, that's... Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Legend of Zelda is just going fishing.
Yeah.
Like,
so I would love Skyrim.
I would just turn the game on and go fish.
That's why I've been trying to get you to play Red Dead, because like the fishing mechanic in that game is so fun, and it like when you're catching like a legendary fish,
yeah,
it'll take like 10-15 minutes sometimes,
right?
And you're like,
it's a struggle.
Yeah, dude, like your thumbs would be hurting. Like you're in there just fighting that thing, and like the line could break at any moment if you do the wrong thing, and it's really fun. Like you could fish for all day.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I know that's what you would be doing.
Yeah,
like
probably would.
Did you not play those like the old Pokemon games on the?
No, we weren't allowed to do anything Pokemon when we were growing up.
He knew what it was.
He knew what it was. But
I played Pokemon on Game Boy because Austin had it. So when I would get to go to his house.
So like when you guys lock yourself in and smoke weed.
Well, no, this was before. This was way before all that.
Yep. Yeah,
I knew this guy telling.
But like we
played
Caleb Pokemon used to Snap, remember, or whatever, like the where you would ride through the train and you take pictures.
Yes, I did play that. That was really fun, but that was just a camera game.
Listen,
Go
ahead, Jason.
I completely understand now after that last story about don't let him get that game. It's got a Harry Potter guy.
Dude,
that's why they didn't let you.
Of course it is, man. I was a horrible. Listen, when I was a child, I thought
going through his head.
I thought I was doing the right thing. Yeah. I really wanted to be a good kid. I wanted all the people around me to do the right thing.
Sure.
And if I was told by my parents, who I adored and really trusted, that something was bad, if other people that I knew were doing things the opposite of what I thought was the right thing, I told on them. Because you need to stop. You need to stop your evil ways.
Of him tattling on me about Harry Potter.
Okay, and I know this one. I've almost brought it up twice tonight already. And if you go ahead, you go ahead.
Tell it. So I was at my aunt's house. It was a few days before Halloween. One of my cousins wanted to be Hermione. So my aunt was aware of the no Harry Potter policy in our family, right? So because like her kids loved Harry Potter and they talked about it all the time, so it was like we always had to go, oh, we're not allowed to watch those. So I'm over at her house, just me, and she's like, Caleb, listen, I'm gonna put on this movie for a second because we want to look at her, what she's wearing, so that we can try to get the costume as accurate as possible. Don't tell your mom because we're not watching the movie. It's just gonna be one scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. You know, it's fine. So like it was like from one of the first or second ones where they're playing chess, you know, like with the big giant chess pieces. And I was like watching, I was like, this is really cool, you know, like this is just some kids playing chess on giant pieces, and it's like super dangerous because they're smacking each other up.
Yeah.
And then they turned it off. I go home, I tell Daniel, I say, hey, Aunt Nina let me watch a little bit of Harry Potter, you know.
Ooh.
I said, please don't tell Mom. As soon as he saw her, the very first thing he said was, Caleb watched
Harry Potter at Aunt Nina's house.
Yeah, and I let Caleb watch Harry Potter. So not only did I get in trouble, but so did my aunt.
Yeah.
And it was just like, really? Like, I thought you were my brother.
Man, I've apologized before, but I'll do it again. I'm sorry that I was such an asshole as a young person. But I really thought I was doing the right thing most of the time when I told on you guys, because y'all were fucking up, bro.
No.
Y'all be fucking up. Everybody I knew just constantly fucking up.
So when did you start smoking weed, and how old were you? And then,
15 or 16.
Okay.
So I was... Nah, bro. You couldn't have started when I was, like, out of high school. You probably started before I was out of high school, don't you think? I'd have been 19. Or if you were 15, I'd have been 18.
I don't remember. Smoked too much weed since then.
I'm wondering, like, and your position is that you would have told them.
Well, just based on my past, they obviously assumed that I would.
Yeah.
I was getting older.
But I thought I've heard you say before, I definitely would.
I probably would have.
When we first started smoking, if we'd have told him right after the first time we did,
my little brother is on drugs. Like, are you kidding me? I'm 18 years old. Like, no, I'm telling Mom.
Right.
Yeah. I got...
You and Eric's lanky ass have been over there telling, right?
I had to
I
had to say his last name.
I had to sneakily, like, try to slowly figure out his stance on weed, and without him knowing that I was doing it. Like, I had a joint one time. One of my friends came over, and he was known, like, for being already kind of on that side of things, and Daniel was okay with it, right? Yeah. And so I said, hey, here, let me give you this joint, and you pull it out and be like, hey, I brought a joint over. Do you guys want to smoke it? So that way maybe Daniel will be like,
to be honest with you,
by him.
I didn't know until just now that was yours and not
really? I never told you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. So,
I always thought that was our friends.
Yeah, no. So he pulled it out and was like, yo, I brought this joint. And Daniel was like, no.
Absolutely not.
Cannot do this. No, sorry, no. And I actually just remembered this. He ratted on him to you and John about it when we went to a lock-in, because you also know this person. And he told you guys, I don't know, his name's Daniel. He also, like, he told you guys about it and was like, be wary. Like, I swear you did. You told Jason and John that he had brought a joint to your house one time.
So he might have one tonight, so y'all need to be on the lookout.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember doing that either.
Like, I would remember that. Like, are you sure he told us?
I swear he did.
Are you sure he told me?
I mean, it was
maybe it was like John,
I probably told
John or something.
I wouldn't have told Kevin.
Yeah, it was like,
I gotta ask John if he remembers that.
Yeah,
I got no recollection. Like, I've never associated.
What was funny though is like, so this person has my joint, right? And Daniel turned down smoking it, so we didn't get to smoke it right then. So he still got my joint. So I was planning on smoking it later when I could get away and go to Austin's house. We had to figure out how to get the joint back to me because Daniel was always around. He never left, right? So we're trying to, like, figure out how can we do this. So
me and Daniel got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. So he goes, all right, I'm leaving, and he goes, oh, hey, I got some of those Sun Kill Moon CDs in the car for you. Come out and grab them, because, like, he had showed me this band. I was super into him, and I'm like, all right, cool. And Daniel goes, all right, I'll come out too. And we're just like, oh shit. So he gets in his car, he gets like some CDs, and he grabs the joint, and he like hands me the CDs, and Daniel's just standing like right there, like right next to us, which wasn't like unusual. Like, he was saying bye to his friend, you know. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, man, see you later. And I give him a hug, and like our hands hang down below here, and he slips it to me, and I like put it in my pocket. And I was like, all right, see you later, buddy. And he got in the car and left, and Daniel was
it worked.
None
Y'all
the wiser.
did well.
And we were both freaking out, though. Like, we hope we can accomplish this without him noticing. Because I was like, I'm not about to let him drive off with my joint.
Like, not a year or two later, the first time I ever smoked was with... Well, the first time I ever got high was with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew, but see, I knew that was a good tactic. It just wasn't. It was
too early, man.
It wouldn't have been
good
if you had smoked it, because I'm assuming it was at your parents' house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, listen, I feel like if you got high that day in that mindset, you'd have probably walked in there and been like, "Listen, I'm high.
Yep.
I'm freaking out."
I would have told him.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. It wasn't until a few years later where I just was like, you know what? Fuck all of this. I don't care. It's fine. I think the day that you and Austin started including me was the day that I was like, y'all got any weed? And you guys were like, nah. And I was like, well, let's go find some. And I'm driving. You guys were like, what the fuck is happening? What the hell? Daniel wants to go buy weed?
What facilitated that? Something happened,
man. I can't remember what it was.
Church?
It may have been. It was church or something else that I was fucking... I don't really know exactly, but I was...
Was it the time that BJ convinced me and John we should go talk to you about not having a job? And then when we went to go talk to you, he was like, listen, you guys need to back off.
BJ said that?
Dick. Yeah, dude. Like, he was like, there was one time we were having lunch with him or something like that, and you came up, And he said, like, he was worried about you guys because you didn't have a job or something like that, and we're just living at home or something.
It was like fresh out of high school, dude. Get off me.
And then like through the conversation, like, somebody said, do you think we should? Yeah, I think you guys should say something to him.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't remember who did or what happened, and then it escalated. And then he called us one day and were like, listen, we're supposed to have a meeting with, like, him and his parents, and would y'all come?
Yeah.
And I remember me and John, like, staying after work because they wanted us to come, and then, like, he calls back, he's like, no, we just need to back off, like, you guys need to cool it. I was like, PJ, this was you.
It was your idea
the whole time.
Yeah. You know why he called that off, though? Is because I refused to fucking sit down with
any of you. Yeah,
and
I don't think your parents were
well, they weren't going to make me.
They weren't doing it either.
No, I told them, I said, you're not making me do shit. Yeah. I'm not going and sitting down with any of these people and talking to them about jack shit because they're all fucking crazy. I'm done. I'm not fucking doing it. And that's probably the day that I said, Caleb, Austin, let's go buy some fucking weed. I was
wondering if that...
It had to have been around the same time.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm falling from the graces of all of these people, I'm going out hard. Fuck it.
Yeah, smoking weed.
Super hard. Super hard. I know.
Yeah.
Be a big boy and snort some heroin.
Yeah. Come on.
Never did that.
Still time.
I'm good. I'm good on that. Do you guys know anything about what's going on in the Middle Eastern countries right now?
I know, like, what the media has been reporting on slightly.
Okay.
Would you like me to go through it?
Yeah, just real quick, and then we'll wrap this up.
Okay. I don't take anything I say as truth because I'm probably going to get some of the details wrong. But from what I understand from the few things I've read and seen the past few weeks, there was a missile attack launched by Iran like a few weeks ago, maybe a little bit more or something. Killed an American citizen and injured a few more, and some other...
Was this on one of our embassies?
No, it was somewhere in... I think it was in Iraq.
It was the U.S. Embassy in Iraq.
They didn't attack that first. The attack on the embassy came after.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
This was the precursor. This was the start of it all. Okay. They attacked somewhere in Iraq, I believe, and it killed a U.S. citizen and injured a few other people. And so we attacked them back. Then that's when the protests / attacks on the embassy started. After all of that, I'm not sure exactly when. Yesterday or the day before, we did another attack based off of intelligence that this guy was there and that he was planning serious attacks against the U.S. This guy was the general of the Iranian forces or something. I don't remember his name. They killed him. The U.S. killed him and another high-ranking officer in that position in Iran. So 2 separate high-level Iranians were killed by the U.S. a few days ago.
Gotcha.
The left is basically saying, oh, Trump's trying to start a war. We don't want this. Trump said, I did this to stop a war, which is what they always say. This is basically what I've heard from the reports. Now, what the fuck is really going on?
Nobody knows.
I don't know. And I was saying even, there's always been a argument of the U.S. military of we need to go and unseat these dictators and these terrorists, these people in power, to help the people in the area. Well, every time they've done that, it makes things
worse.
Yeah, detrimentally worse after the fact.
Yeah.
It's never worked.
Some people don't want democracy, and we should leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, and it's not even that. Like, with the Gaddafi situation, when they killed him, the power struggles between all of the other rebel groups and everything around caused so much more chaos than he was causing being a horrible dictator.
Right.
Yeah.
So it didn't work. It failed. And, they kill this guy. He was ranked one of the top... Trump says, oh, he's the worst terrorist in the world. he says that about everything, is either the worst or the best. If he's got something to do with it, if he's stopped it, it's the worst. If he did it, it's the best.
Right.
But this guy that they killed has already been replaced by someone who they're saying is just as bad.
Sure.
But now his possible buddy / previous superior has just been killed by the U.S., so he's probably even more pissed off.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just, I definitely feel like there's some other reasons for all of this right now.
They've been trying to go to Iran forever, though.
Yeah.
Well, I think it could be oil. I saw something about Iran recently, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how old the article was. I just saw it was like Iran recently discovered a giant oil field.
Yeah. Listen, I don't understand. Like, Congress is supposed to be the one that authorizes war, and it doesn't happen anymore. And that's my whole point. You can write whatever you want to on a piece of paper here, but they don't listen to it.
No.
Mm-hmm. Like, while we were talking about this, I got a text message from somebody. It was like a tweet that Trump just, I guess, tweeted, I don't know how long ago, but it said, "These media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nevertheless." Are you kidding? Like, and person or target, like, that could be anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's all a hot mess over there right now.
It always is.
Everyone that I've talked to is just like, World War III, they're going to draft everybody, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who said that?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
It's not going to be
They're not drafting anybody.
Listen,
it's not going to be a world war. If they do draft someone,
war.
It's not going to fucking happen. There's going to be a bunch of dumbasses that sign up for it.
That's my thing, is they're
not drafting anybody. There's enough dumbasses, enough people who are fucking suckered into fucking signing up that they're not going to draft anybody.
We have to go kill Iranians for our freedoms that most of them we think we have that we don't even actually have.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, I understand the need of a military in a case of keeping some freedoms that might possibly be.
You only need a military to guard your borders.
When's the last time soldiers
it.
Killed someone in the name of our actual American freedoms?
Never, because we've never fucking been invaded.
I think it was the Revolutionary War.
That was it.
Was the last time.
That was it.
Or the Civil War, maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, guys, it isn't. Like, we
provoked and I respect soldiers, but I feel like they're all being duped.
Yeah, you have to differentiate that, right? You have to differentiate the soldier from the cause that they're going to fight for.
Of course.
And the
it's not those soldiers' fault.
Nah.
They're duped just like every other American citizen is.
But that's the whole game, right? They want everybody to thank everyone for their service and to put these servicemen and women on this pedestal where you can never question anything. Mm-hmm. And then what we're doing now, they'll be, oh, that's disrespectful to people that served.
Yep.
No, it's not.
No.
I can question the ideals of it while still saying it's the same way with police officers.
Yeah.
I think that whole organization is corrupt and evil, but I recognize that there may be a police officer out there with a family. He's just trying to do.
He's just trying to fucking make a living. He's just trying to live. Like, I get that too.
It's not that bad, but the nature of it is corruption, and like, you're going to do immoral things if you're in that immoral environment.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the draft, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
I don't think it will.
Plus, I think I'm too old for that anyways. I signed up for it at 18, but I think I'm past
the age. 25 and then
way over that. Good.
I had somebody
unless they change the law.
This meme the other day, it was like Eminem, like in the music video, and it says, like, it's like, U.S. government, you've got to be 21 to buy tobacco products now because it's really dangerous. And it's like, also the government, when they're trying to go to school to go to high schools to recruit for the draft, it's like, hey kids, do you like violence?
Yeah. Yep.
Like that Eminem quote.
Yeah. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't buy a pack of cigarettes, but you can go, here's your AR-15, go over there and kill you some Iranians.
Absolutely insane. My thing is, like, I don't care. Just pick an age. Pick something. Stick with it. Stop contradicting yourself constantly with the age limits of all these different things. Like, pick one. If it's 21, that's fine, but don't make people sign up for drafts at 18, and don't recruit people into the military until they're 21 years old.
Listen, I really think it should all be 16. Let's bring all of it down.
Probably.
Tobacco, alcohol, weed, sex. Well, I mean, I don't think it should be anything, but if we're going to do it, let's bring it down to 16.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. Like, Europe and England and some of those places, like, it's 16 to drink.
Yeah.
And they don't have near as many problems with underage drinking because here's the thing. When you make it something that's a problem, when you tell people you're not allowed to do something, they want to do it. There's a lot of kids, even in the United States of America, who drink heavily in high school and stop drinking after 21. You know what I mean? Because it's, I can do it now legally. It's not cool anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, and typically, like, I think it was, what's her name? That transgendered lady who's like freaking G.
Yeah.
Amelia Paglia or
yes.
whatever.
Yep.
I think she said that when kids are unsupervised to drink, because they're going to drink.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get their hands on alcohol, underage or not.
Yep.
And when they're unsupervised in these frat houses, in these environments where they can go and just be in a house with all of their friends and get hammered, and they have to do it in private, because if they can't go to a bar and drink, it causes a much worse problem.
Yep.
When you have places where it allows kids to go out to the pub with their friends, they have a few drinks, then no one's getting hammered there in public, they go home. Yep. They had a good time, and they learn how to drink responsibly.
Because bartender will cut a grown man off if he starts getting out of control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like it's
and like obviously there are still alcoholics in places where they have, people who can drink at a younger age. There are still kids who have problems with it, but I don't think it's as bad. I think it's like with anything, when you tell someone they can't do it, they just want to do it more.
Prohibition has never stopped anyone from doing anything. It only makes it more desirable. That is tried and true. Like, people know that. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And it just turns the person into a criminal.
Exactly. For no reason.
Shouldn't be.
For no reason. It's...
Yeah.
There's no sense involved in it. It's stupid.
There's no sense in laws.
No.
Other than the natural laws.
It's probably true.
We're going to do a podcast on that.
Natural law?
Mm-hmm. I want to do one on that.
Okay.
Well, sounds good.
Read up on it.
Most definitely. Y'all ready to wrap this up?
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.